Hello everyone, it's Jeff. This is as you can see, a VCLT video. So for those haters who don't enjoy seeing people get VCLT, stop now. But because this is, I had to make this video because I'll just give you the whole story. Yesterday, I had dinner with the family, and we're sitting at the table eating, and my wife goes, "Dinner's over, you're gonna go sit in the front room, and I've got something for you." And I'm like, "Okay." And she goes, "Don't be mad." And whenever she says "don't be mad," right guys, when your wife tells you don't be mad, that's usually a sure sign to start worrying. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So we go finish dinner, I go sit down, and she has my son bring in this big box. As you can see, it's a big long box. And I see it's got VCLT written all over it, and I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm like, what did you do? Because I had no idea. And she wouldn't say. She just had my son set it down and said, "Open it." So it's, you know, it's a pretty thick, heavy box. It's even got a label on it, and there's no return address. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So I open it, and I look inside, and I'm like, what? And she starts to tell me the story of how she got this. So without any further ado, I'm just going to move this box aside and you'll see what it is. It's the Telefunken unit that I've been talking about and promoting Amorphous Audio, Russ's videos on. So I'm going to move this camera a little bit closer. I'm going to have to drop this a little bit lower so you can see. This is the unit, the stereo unit for the Telefunken, which is right behind. We're sitting right behind here. And I guess, sorry, I think I'm coming down with a cold. Sorry if my voice sounds kind of weird. I'm like, how did you get this? What happened? And she said that she'd been talking with Russ on Facebook. I guess he contacted her or however, and he said that he wanted to surprise me and he wanted to do this as VCLT. Now, all along, I'd been telling him, you know, keep a tab on what you're doing and whatever parts you're ordering, and I'll reimburse you for them. You know, but he wouldn't take any money, and you know, he packed this thing up. It's on, you know, he notched out wood blocks to set this thing on, and these are all the parts, all the parts that he replaced, and there's tubes in here. There's old capacitors. There's new capacitors that I tried to replace, but obviously I screwed it up because I didn't know what I was doing. And this piece of cardboard here is the backing for the dial, so you can read the needle on the dial. So I can't believe it. Russ, thank you so much. I was speechless yesterday when I looked inside the box. And I think the kids took a video of me opening it because they knew what it was. You know, that I was the one getting the surprise. So I can't believe it. Thank you. But there's a whole series of videos that I've been linking to all along as he's been posting them while he's working on this thing. I put them all into a playlist. I'll have to put a link to that playlist for anybody who's interested. But Russ didn't just replace a couple of tubes and a couple of capacitors on this thing. I don't know how am I going to show this. He's got, well, just trust me when I tell you. He replaced tubes, obviously, and capacitors, but he also replaced a lot of the wiring on this thing because, you know, this unit is 60 years old. And just looking at the guts of this thing, I can see all kinds of new wires, all kinds of new parts, and on the bottom of this thing, if you look at the videos that he did, he shows the bottom of this thing, and you can see all of the new parts that he added into this thing, not only to restore it, but also to make it safer, because I guess these tube units are high voltage units, and there wasn't a whole lot of grounding on it. Nobody's fault. That's just the way they made them back then. I don't know. So he'd asked me if he wanted me to. Let me scoot back here so you can see me a little bit better. He asked me if he wanted him to replace the power cord on it with a new power cord that was grounded, because the old one didn't have a ground plug in it. So of course I said yeah, and he did. You can see inside this bag here, it's a new power cord. It looks like he made, and he also asked about a connector for the record player unit that goes in this cabinet. He made one of those for that. This box here is the FM radio multiplexer. It's, you know, it's got a couple of tubes in it. He went through that. It's all wrapped up on bubble wrap, but not only did he go through it and make sure that worked too, he put a new power cord on it, as you can see right here, and it looked like he tied in a small little power strip to the power supply to give this a safer path for power, to power it. So so he contacts my wife, wants to surprise me, and they were able to meet up at her work. He boxed it up in this super heavy, stiff box, loads it in the car for her. She kept trying to, you know, pay him, and he wouldn't take any money. And he said, you know, wanted to do this as VCLT. So once again, Russ, I can't believe it. This is just for those of you who don't know, months and months ago, I'd showed this unit. It's a Telefunken stereo that it was my grandmother's, and I remembered it as a kid. And I'd gotten the chance to acquire it from my aunt. She gave it to me probably 3 or 4 years ago. And it lit up, but it didn't really work that well. So I'd taken the stupid opportunity thinking I could just fix it myself. And I ended up making it worse. And so I was like stuck, because I wanted to get this thing working just for sentimentality's sake. And when I'd seen Russ's videos, he was local to me, and I'd seen he'd worked on all this tube gear. And if you look on his channel, you know, he does servicing of a lot of different parts, like record players and tube amps and things like that. So I just reached out to him. I said, hey, you know, would you be interested in working on this thing? And he said, yeah. And he actually came over. We made a video together here. And slowly but surely, he would work on it and post videos of his progress. And, you know, I kept thinking, you know, geez, what's this going to cost me? Blah, blah, blah. And but I was going to pay it no matter what, because I really want this thing to work. And it turns out he did it as VCLT. So I'm really speechless, and I can't believe the generosity that, you know, is out there in the VC. You know, I mean, I've given VCLT, of course, but what I've received has been just unbelievable. And I think this tops at all of it, in my opinion. So he basically rebuilt this thing, modernized it a little bit, made it safer, and I'll be putting it back in the cabinet here soon in the near future. And I'm going to try to figure out how to attach the record player, because I have to build a box for it to set it inside the cabinet. This is it back here. So I've got a few more things to do before it's going to be up and running, but this is a major, major, major step forward in this project. So I just wanted to share this with all of you. Just had to tell you what an awesome guy Russ is, and I just can't believe it. I mean, it takes a lot to surprise me, and my wife will tell you that, and it takes a lot to knock me back. But when I opened the box yesterday and I looked inside, I was literally, I think my mouth was just sitting there hanging open because I couldn't believe it. So I just had to share this with you guys. Please check out Russ's channel. And he makes videos about records too. It's not just about working on audio gear. But yeah, this is just unbelievable to me. So, and I'll have more to say about this probably in my next video, because I'm going to be doing my shout out video here for my 1-year anniversary, probably early next week. And I'll talk more about, you know, the unbelievable place that the VC is from my personal experience. So I just wanted to make this video to share with you all and to thank you again, Russ. You're unbelievable. So with all that said, this is Jeff. Peace. And I will talk to you guys again soon. So take care.